And we are rolling on October 17th, 2017. It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. The sunshine is shining. Yes, it is. Eat your heart out. Puerto Rico, New York, and other places in the East. We are about to hear an extemporaneous speech, and before Daniel starts, I wanted to say that generally we won't use a table there if you're not using notes or your little timer, so you're free to move around. And I prefer that you move 3 times during your speech, during your 3 points of analysis, so you're not just a static being there. Yeah, so move those evil chairs away. Good, thank you. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And oh, just so you will know what we're talking about, and just so you'll know, I'll say it aloud just for time's sake today, but in the future we'll put our topics up on the board so you folks can follow. The question before the House is, does Bill O'Reilly's exit from Fox News indicate a change in the network's direction? I repeat, does Bill O'Reilly's exit from Fox News indicate a change in the network's direction?
Are we doing 5 minutes?
What did you think?
So kind of a disclaimer before the timer starts, like, this is a nice segue about what we just talked about. And the speech I'm about to give is satirical, so don't take it seriously, please.
Okay.
And it's just to make a point that how absurd the answer to the question is. So, okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Disclaimer. The following speech is not represented in my political viewpoints. I am a paid anchor that gets paid millions of dollars to spew bullshit out of my mouth I don't believe in. So, on that note, hi, I'm Daniel Trent, and you're watching Fox News Tonight. The question on our mind is, does Bill O'Reilly's exit indicate a change in our network? That answer is no. If you think we're going to pull a Beyonce and go, to the left, well, you're wrong. Let me tell you why. Donald Trump, after the Access Hollywood tapes came out, he did not pivot, and he became president. And we're still the #1 news network, so you can expect the same from us. According to the Washington Post, the O'Reilly Factor was the #1 show on TV for 16 straight years. And even after losing the king of cable news, we're still #1. Last time I checked on Adweek, we've been the #1 news network for 15 straight months. And so there's 3 obvious reasons why we won't change. Number 1, we are the most watched news network because we are conservative. In fact, we're the only conservative news channel on TV. And well, as you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Number 2, this is the most mind-boggling. We have a history of allegations against us regarding sexual harassment. The Wrap has a list of people that have been accused on our network. Let me go down that list for you. Roger Ailes, Judy Slater, Sean Hannity, Bill Shine, Jamie Horowitz, Bill O'Reilly. It's a lot of people. And apparently our viewership base doesn't care, because they tune in to see and hear conservative news. And as a result, well, no result technically, all these allegations, they haven't put a single dent in our rating. And number 3, the most obvious reason why we're not changing directions at all. Bill O'Reilly's replacement is Tucker Carlson. For crying out loud, he's another conservative. And if you look on our website, there's plenty of conservative anchors and commentators. For example, Brett Baier, Neil Cavuto, Sean Hannity, Shepard Smith, Chris Wallace, and so on and so on. We also have an endless supply of commentators and contributors and guests like Jason Chavez, a politician, and Tommy Lauren. And so as you can see, Fox News is not going to change directions for those 3 reasons. We're conservative, all these sexual harassment allegations don't do a damn thing, and we hired a conservative to replace O'Reilly, who in fact, according to Variety, in the second quarter of 2017, had the #1 watched news TV show. So in conclusion, Bill O'Reilly leaving isn't going to change a damn thing. And this sort of scenario has happened in other networks. If you look on MSNBC, after 8 years, Keith Olbermann left. Well, guess who slid in and replaced him easily? Rachel Maddow. And they're still neck and neck with us in reading. So if you think what I just told you is absolute bullshit and fake news, let me tell you who's president of the United States, Donald Trump. And if not changing a damn thing leads you to be president of the United States and the #1 news channel, well, guess what? We're not changing a damn thing.
Okay, thank you. Stay up there for your critique, please. Thank you, Daniel. What was the time, please?
2:53.
2:53. Okay. We have the way it works for the new people and everyone else is we go around the room and we ask one person to make a positive comment, another person to make a constructive criticism, and then I will give a critique. So we'll start here in the rear with you. What did you like? Stand up, say your name.
I'm Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi. I thought you were a really engaging speaker. Like even just when you started off with your Beyonce to the left, it kind of just it made us feel comfortable. You kind of brought the audience in, and with your movement, it started it out with like an exciting tone and an exciting opening. So I thought your tone like was captivating as an audience member.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chloe. Okay, and how might he improve? Yes. Would you rather I call on someone else? Yeah. Take your hands out of your pocket. Stay in the power stance if your feet are wider than your shoulders. Yeah. So you're like a tripod. Yeah, okay. Very good. Thank you.
I'm Sheila, and I thought you were really good. I did not think about any critiques for you, but if I had to, I felt your eye contact didn't meet the entire room, maybe just because like, the camera was there, but that's my only critique.
Yeah, I realized I forgot.
Constructive criticism.
I realized I forgot to start the timer, so I was like looking. Wait, I didn't start the timer.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start with some positive things, and then give you some constructive ideas for improving the speech. Daniel, chose not to sort of do a straight-up extemp speech as I showed in the model. So he chose to do sort of a satirical voiceover, and so that sort of skewed the results, and it skewed the the format, but it was interesting, and as Chloe pointed out, it was sort of engaging in a way. I don't want this. I'd like you to just start with a grabber, and no disclaimer, or no, oh, I'm sick, or I have a cough, or no, it's going to be a bad speech. Just go into doing what you're going to do, and let us figure out that this is a satire. So, hi, I'm Daniel Tran, and I'm a news commentator for Fox News, and just believe it and do it. I was looking to see early on what you were going to do with your speech. I was looking for a thesis preview that you tell your audience where you're going to go and what your 3 points would be, and then why it's important that we talk about this, and then make those 3 points, summarize, conclude, and tie back. So let's go to that. You talked about President Trump and said he was caught talking about grabbing, and he's president. I rest my case, and I'm not so sure that's compelling evidence to me. But the other evidence you presented, which was that they haven't changed and they're still high in the ratings, was pretty good. So, I want to see a briefer thesis preview. Okay, so I'm looking for on that. Now, on the significance statement, I was looking, Daniel, for stuff like, so many people watch this. Is this valuable and fair in the marketplace of ideas? Is this fake news? Is this right news, left news? Is this balanced by MSNBC? Is this just feeding old people what they want? And should they change? How can you force them to change? Should the government make them change? After all, it was Lisa Bloom, one of my debaters, that went after him with these sexual harassment claims and got him fired. And it's sort of let's get Fox News that way by taking out their anchors. But as you point out, it doesn't matter. They're still, Bill O'Reilly's not there, but they're still spewing their, positions on the world. So, yeah. On your first reason, they're number one, and they're still number one, and you mentioned Keith Olbermann and Rachel Maddow, and I would like to see that fleshed out and worked into a reason in a little better way. The second reason, the sexual allegation against misconduct, you listed a laundry list of a lot of people, and I guess I just accept that on face value. And I guess you have a quote here at the bottom. And folks, what I'm looking for when you have evidence of all these Fox News anchors being accused of sexual harassment and so forth, that you quote Ryan Jaworski, who wrote in The Wrap in 2017, in the history of Fox News sexual harassment scandals from Roger Ailes to Charles Loon, these 5 anchors have all, so we have credibility, and it's not, just Daniel asserting it, but you make an argument from authority. That's what I would have liked to have seen. The third reason, Tucker Carlson, I'm not sure. You're right. He's conservative. I'm not sure he's much of a replacement for Bill O'Reilly, but I guess one will do with the other. In the summary, I was looking for you to summarize the 3 reasons real distinctly. And then in the conclusion, say there should be no doubt in this room, Fox News is not going to change, and then tie back to some clever intro like Beyonce or something like that, so we have a complete tie back. But you typed this up nicely. You used the Chicago format, and you had a lot of good work cited. So you did your research from the deep internet. And by the way, I want to tell...
I Googled everything, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Honesty. I want to tell you new folks, we had a library lecture from Mickey Garrell, and I asked that you not Google, but you use the references that are... There's a library reference page for our class, and there are about 7 bibliographic citations of different databases that I prefer you use to Google. And you'll find these are ones that are not available to the general public, so I want you to use those and not just Google your information. Yes, sir. Stand up and say your name.
Kelvin. Is
Hi, Kelvin.
Pew Data and Gallup polling acceptable for these speeches?
Sure. But, cite it and cite, when it was done and perhaps the questions that were asked and that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments before we close the discussion on Daniel? Daniel, did you feel that you didn't want to answer this question seriously because the question was absurd, or you chose it because it was absurd, or you felt that it was sort of a tautology that Fox Network is conservative network and it doesn't matter if the second coming came, they're not going to change, right?
Yeah, I felt that. I looked at the question and I said, oh, come on, no. And it's been how many months since O'Reilly been fired? He was fired in April, I believe.
Yeah.
So literally nothing has changed.
Yeah.
And I use the Trump example just to make a point, like, oh, like what the hell can you do? It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is, and it's freaking absurd.
Yeah, you know, when that thing with we'll call it a thing, when that revelation about President Trump, now President Trump, came out about I grabbed the P or whatever he said, I grabbed P or I don't know what he said. Something along that, you know what I'm referring to, right? Everyone knows what I'm referring to? Yeah. The insiders at the Hillary Clinton campaign thought that was the end, that was going to sink him, and she hardly needed to campaign anymore. And as you sort of cynically or realistically pointed out, it doesn't matter, right? So, yeah, okay. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, do we have another volunteer, or shall I run my hand down the list?
I'll go.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Armand too. Yeah. Armand too. Wait, going on. Okay, yeah. Oh, you need to have the clock or who's timing? So you don't. If you don't need it, let's push the table away so you have a complete stage. Yeah, put it right here in front of me. Yeah. Well, the second floor is thinking that the earthquake has come.
Oh, that's why the wheels are stuck.
That's cool, yeah. Yeah, they lock the wheels, don't they? Yeah. Okay, let's push it over a little bit more toward Daniel, yeah. Good, yeah, that's good.
I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with my
No,
fingers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, half, fist this time. No, that's better, because then you know how much you have left. You have 3 left, 2 left, and you can kind of gauge. Yeah. Okay. Okay,
So I'm going to write my...
just because I want to get a lot in today, I'm going to just say it. And by the way, Armand, I want to say this to you, and you didn't know, but don't ever wear white to class because you take it off. You ever have a jacket you can wear or something? Yeah, okay. Because you look like, all I can see is your face on the whiteboard. But so try not to wear white to class. And everyone, don't wear white to class. You want to be a good contrast to the screen. Yeah. Good. Okay. Okay. Armand stands before you, managing attention. He looks around the room, makes sure that no one is texting, that all the computers are closed and the phones are away, that all eyeballs are upon you. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Look around the room and say to yourself, I respect my audience, and really mean it. Say to yourself, not aloud, not aloud, that would be weird. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Armand, and I'm going to start my speech.
Hi, Armand.
Hi. So by 2088, all of our fossil fuel resources will be depleted. And what will the U.S. do then? Well, if they start then, nothing. It'll be too late. And if they start now, they might choose the wrong green energy to invest in, causing a huge lack of time, energy, and resources for the future, as well as a lack of energy output by 2088. So it's really crucial we choose the right green energy to invest in first. And so the question I want to answer for you guys today is, what green energy should the U.S. invest in first? And my answer is solar energy, and here's why. First off, solar energy is easily integrated into American people's homes. Secondly, intermittent power is less of a concern with solar energy as opposed to other green energies. And third, it takes a lot of small investments from many people. Investments from many people as opposed to massive investments for things like wind, geothermal, and nuclear. And this is significant because, as I said before, fossil fuels will deplete, and if it's not your children, it's going to be your grandchildren that suffer from a lack of energy and economic recessions and extreme pollution. So it's critical we act now correctly. So my first reason is solar can be easily integrated into people's homes. So if you have a wind farm or a nuclear power plant or a hydroelectric plant, it's off-site from a population and it requires a lot of power lines and massive infrastructure. It's basically creating another power grid. Whereas solar energy, it takes up no space because you put it on your roof. It's a self-sustaining unit, and because you're already connected to the main grid, you can sell the energy back to the grid. So it's really easy to implement with today's infrastructure. Secondly, solar energy is less of a concern when it comes to intermittent power. What I mean by intermittent power is it's not 24/7 like coal or oil. Wind's not always blowing and the sun's not always out. But according to CQ researcher, power consumption is correlated with sunniness. So in Southern California, we use a lot of energy. In northern Maine, it's cloudy and they don't use as much. So although they won't be able to harness as much energy in those cloudy areas, they use less energy. So it helps to offset that. And lastly, it requires a lot of small investments from your average American citizen. So it's a lot easier to implement rather than massive money for wind energy or hydroelectric. And because it's from the citizen, there could be other reasons besides economics, such as being more environmentally friendly or being off the grid. Just so if the cost isn't there for wind, it's not going to be built. Whereas solar, even if it's not super economic, people may still adopt it. So in summary, I told you 3 reasons why solar energy should be invested in first. 1 being easily integrated into homes. 2 being intermittent power is less of a concern. And 3, it takes a lot of small investments from the American people that could be doing it for different reasons other than just economics. So I hope there's no doubt in your mind at this point that solar energy should be invested in first within the U.S. And if we do, we won't have to go back to the dark ages in 2088. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. What was the time?
3:28.
3:28. Okay. Just a note on the time. When you have 5 minutes, I'd like to see us try to use the majority of our time. We're here. Yes, sir.
I'm Jason.
Hi, Jason.
I thought that you did a really good job with the tempo of your speech. I thought it was really easy to follow what you were saying, and you were spoken in a very clear way, as well as you had a really clear structure of what you were going to talk about. You talked about them and then summarized them really well, which I think is something that is really important in this class. And yeah.
Jason's right. We build in a redundancy into our oral communication. We tell people what we're going to tell them, and we tell them what we told them. And that's by design, so that when they space out, they at least get the point somehow, some way, in the 3 times we say it. So good. Pace, I want to say something about that, which is we want to vary it. We also want to vary our vocal variety. We want to speak softly, loudly, quickly, slowly. So we're interesting to listen to, not just monophone, same always. How could he improve, UCLA?
Hi, my name is Sumana.
Sumana. Hi, Sumana.
I wanted to start off by saying I really appreciated the depth of knowledge and statistics you provided in your speech. But just constructive criticism on that, I felt like maybe some of them needed more citations, just so we know where you're getting your information from. But other than that, I thought it was a really good speech.
Yes, thank you, Sumana. I'll make that point now for everybody, and I made it for Daniel, although his speech didn't lend itself to much argument from authority, but this one did. We want to give where we got our information at minimum and the date. And if we have a good professor that said it or a good citation, add to it, because that adds to the credibility, to your own credibility, and we call that our argument from authority. Secondly, I didn't say anything because Daniel did it correctly, but Armand number 2, we use the Chicago style of footnoting.
Right.
And that means that you put the footnotes on the first page, and they're at the bottom. Forewarned is forearm, everyone. Footnotes on the first page. Footnotes on the first page, everone. Footnotes on the first page.
Format or the citation itself. I didn't put it in the footer.
Yeah, okay. We'll put it in the footer. Put it that, and so the one thing we just learned from Armand 2's speech is we want to make arguments from authority. We want to use the Chicago style, and we want to have footers on the first page and include them. So, as Sumana pointed out, we trust you, Armand 2, but it would nice to know where you're getting your information. And if you had an authority, and you did have many. And by the way, I'm getting ahead of myself now, but let me say another positive thing. This was from the deep internet. This was from the Gale Reference Library and the other good sources. So you followed honestly what I asked you to do. So thank you so much for that. Well, and by the way, when I give Armand 2 his critique, it's too late for Armand 2, but not for the rest of you. So I would encourage you to listen or take notes or at least watch the tapes and take heart to what I told him so you don't make the same mistake. On the introduction, you have 5 or 6 choices. You can start with a poem, a quote, a joke, a rhetorical question, a story. Well, or we have here what I call an arresting fact. What you have to do is grab your audience, draw them in, and make them want to listen. And that first minute is crucial, folks. You've heard the old cliche, you only get one chance to make a good first impression, so make it. Don't blow it. When it's the old, what they teach down in Franz Hall, primacy recency. You have everyone paying attention for the first minute and the last minute. So make it good. So he told us that fossil fuel will be depleted. Maybe. That just assumes present resources will stay continuous and we won't have any new finds. But so this is just a debater talking now. But yeah. Okay. But so that was an arresting fact. So what do we do? And I think if you wanted to go with this sort of scenario of, there's a lot of choices, there's geothermal, there's wind, there's tidal power, etc. But I think there's just one choice, and that's solar. So that was fine. On your thesis, I think you nicely integrated the question. Which green energy should the U.S. invest in first? You very clearly answered solar, and you gave 3 reasons, and they were good reasons. They were distinct, and you nicely previewed them, so we knew where you were going. So that was very good. I especially like the idea because these, those, if you look at the cost of those mirrors out there in the desert and some of the other things that they're talking about, the offshore wind thing.
Huge investments.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Okay, now, the significant statement you used was a scare tactic. You say, we're going to run fossil fuel. That's okay. Another way to go is to say that, and or it's better for the environment. It's not, the old Al Gore stuff. Let's not push that stuff up there and cause climate change and global warming. Right? Let's not heat up the earth. And so that's another way to go. Because there's a segment of the population that believes that fossil fuels are contributing to climate change. So that's another. Okay. On your main body, your first reason of integration into people's homes was easy, and you point out that it's on the roof. And by the way, come a little bit forward. Don't ever stand so near the screen because you look like you're afraid of your audience. And stand just about right where that brown tile is. That should be as far forward as you come. Okay, yeah, good. That's perfect. Yeah. I want you all to remember to walk 3 times during your speech. So the first reason, 3 steps to the right. Second reason, 5 steps to the left. And third reason, 3 steps to the right back to the center where you end up. Let me see you walk and tell us about your morning walk and talk. Okay, begin.
I'm a late morning guy, so my morning starts around noon. I don't eat breakfast either, so not much of a morning I had today.
Okay. Now, what do you think of his walking? Any suggestions for improvement? Mm-hmm. Well, you already know the answer, so I don't tell me new. Yeah, okay. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Kelsey.
Hi, Kelsey.
I
Kelsey
thought
Grammer.
he was like looking down as he walked instead of keeping eye contact with the audience.
Very good, yeah. Good, Kelsey. Remember, you never take your eyeballs off the audience and you don't turn away from the audience. So you cheat forward as you're walking to the left, to the right, and back to center. And you keep your eyes on the prize, which is the audience. Okay? So try it again. This time, cheat forward. And here's another little tip for you. When you walk right, step first with your right foot, and don't ever cross. Don't ever try to walk right by first putting your left foot across. You'll see it's really awkward, and to cross your foot, and then walk back and do the walk again. Tell us about your night last night. I'm not much of a night person.
I was working on this speech last night.
Good, excellent.
And cooked dinner for the first time in a while. So, first time for everything, I guess. And then I went to bed.
Excellent. I like somebody with self-discipline that knows that you do your work first and then take time to play. So I like that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. When you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you're going to see that you turn a little bit too much left. But so keep your eyes cheated forward, not scissor step, but just keep it cheated forward. Mm-hmm. So you cited the congressional researcher, which is a good source, and it was 2017, but you didn't say so. So do say so. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with your second and your third reason. You didn't cite the expert authorities you were given for your second and third reason.
So should I be citing every source I put in the outline, I should say it verbally in my speech.
You cite one for each of your major points.
Okay.
Yeah. And how do I say this? On the solar issue, there is a time you need to mention battery storage getting better, because that's going to be the key to solar competing, because there's a time when the sun doesn't shine in California, and people at night need to have battery storage to get them through the night, etc. Let's see, I said walk 3 times, and you had a good tie back to what you used as an intro, but I recommend you use a different intro. And then once again, remember to footnote your one for each of your main points and put it on the first page so that it's Chicago style. Okay? Excellent job, Armand. Thank you. All right, do we have another volunteer? No more volunteers. No? Okay. No more volunteers? Come on, it's easy. Eminem.
That's me.
Oh, is this your first day? Oh. You lucked out.
This is like winning a lottery.
Jason.
I didn't know it had to be 2 pages, so it's a little longer.
That's great, Jason. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're all, just working our way into what's best. Take a step forward, please. Yeah. Good. There. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Half step back. Yeah. And okay, let's go through the 7 steps to start a speech. You get in the power stance. So your feet are like a tripod, wider than your shoulders, so you don't sway. Kind of lock your knees a little bit. You look around the room and make sure all phones are away, computers are closed, because they're not allowed in my class. You look around the room and say to yourself, I respect my audience, and really mean it, so they sense a respectful speech come from you and not a condescending one talking down. Find friendly eyes near the front and the center, because that's where you want to look. Say your name, feel a little love. Start your speech.
Okay. I am Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Hi.
Hello. So, the U.S. has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and his regime. So, for a lot of us, President Trump becoming president was seen as sort of a surprise. I don't know about for you, but for me, I was very certain that this was not going to happen, and today it's our reality. And that being said, President Trump likes to pride himself on the fact that he's a strong leader, everything he does is perfect, that everyone else basically around him is not as good as he is. And there's a lot of different reasons as to why our current president is creating and instilling a sense of fear across the nation, which ultimately has to do with the fact that is there going to be another war on the horizon? So today, I will be answering the question, is the Trump administration leading us into a war? And I will be answering that with the answer is yes. And I will be giving you 3 reasons why. The first reason I will be touching upon is President Trump's communication style. We've seen a variety of different outlets of his means of communicating, whether it's through Twitter, whether it's through his press conferences and all of the craziness that comes out of his mouth, or when he does interviews with different people. The next thing that I will be discussing is his background. One of the unique traits about President Trump is that he has never been in politics before. He is a businessman, and I'm going to talk about why that is relevant to this as well. The last thing I will be discussing is the fact that he is creating havoc and also different challenges with our international relations with different countries around the world, and how that's playing up with our stance with those countries. So the first thing that I will be addressing is his communication style. Now, Trump has a mentality of beating things head on, and he, loves to come off like he's this big tough guy. And he says, or quoted from the New York Times by Peter Barquette from August 8th, 2017, that North Korea will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. Now, as a president, to say that we're going to fight against a country in that tone of voice is just poor strategy. The way that we're going to, solve issues with other countries is not by coming off like we're amazing and you suck and you can't compromise because you have to do what I'm saying, is not something that any type of person wants to hear, because creating peace is done through compromise, not one-sided level-headedness. Additionally, it's counterproductive the way that he communicates with other world leaders, and ultimately, whether it's through his tweets or whether it's through these reports, the way that he's trying to communicate with other countries is simply not professional, and it is an embarrassment to the rest of the country. Additionally, like I talked about, his lack of political background is coming out now as he's president. He's a businessman at heart, and being a businessman is ultimately about yourself, and it's about making money, and it's about being successful. That's great, but when you're the president, your job is to represent an entire country. And so you can't always just do what's best for you, you have to consider the rest of the country. And so, in an article from Foreign Affairs by Philip Gordon from 2017, he quoted that a failed business deal allows both parties to walk away unscathed if disappointed. A failed diplomatic gambit can lead to political instability, use of dangerous weapons, and even a war. I think that's really important to remember, because the reality is, if we don't approach situations like a politician should, then we're going to be, like I said, headed into a war, because North Korea is prepared with nuclear weapons. And the last point I will be discussing is, like I talked about, our current relations with other countries. We're currently at sort of a trade war type of, I guess you could call it, with China. And the point of this is to say that Trump is creating a lot of issues with different countries based upon whether or not we can, Trump said that he will not associate with other countries that have any relationships to North Korea. So that's a really bold statement, and that kind of mentality is creating lines between us and our allies, and could potentially be even harder for us as we move forward, and with this impending war on the horizon, and North Korea not being happy with the way that Trump is approaching the situation. So, being that my time is pretty much up, I will say that in summary, I talked about how Trump's communication style, his background, and the current trade war situation is ultimately harming all of our abilities to have a safe peace of mind in this country, and that because of these reasons, Trump is instilling a sense of fear across the country, when the reality is his intention should be to protect us and keep us safe, so that we as Americans can feel like we're being taken care of, which is his job. His job is not supposed to be just being this strong, tough guy and making us feel like, you know, he can do anything, because the reality is he can't, and he needs our support in order to have any type of success on behalf of the country.
Thank you. What was the time? 6:53. So you were 2 minutes over.
I tried to talk slow, and then I would
Yeah.
talk too slow.
Let me just say, the solution is to practice and to time yourself and to edit. You had a lot of good, but stay in the power stance when you're up there. You had a lot of great points. You wrote a great essay. But let's go to where are we? Here, yes sir. What did you like about Jason's speech? What's your name?
Armand.
Hi, Armand.
I thought that you did a really good job of making it seem like you were just having a one-on-one conversation with somebody. Even though you had a lot of dense material and like a lot of points you wanted to make, it seemed very natural as opposed to just a lecture. So although you're talking to 20 people, it seemed like you made like a one-on-one connection with anyone you had eye contact with. So I thought that was pretty good.
And we want to speak in the extemporaneous style. This is not an English class where we write an essay on a political question and read it. We are going to deliver it from an outline, which you hand me an outline. How can he improve?
Hello, Emin again.
What's your name?
Emin.
Emin. Hi, Emin.
Hello. I didn't see anything wrong with the speech or either.
He was perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Just like Jesus.
But better.
I'm Jewish, so that's even better.
One thing I can say is there's multiple reasons why you would want to go to war. It's not only communications. You can also point the fact that every time you bomb something, ratings go up. So that's one thing I can say.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you'll get the swing of it as more you're in class, but yeah, okay. Well, Jason, when I say stand back just a little bit. Yeah, right there is good. Yeah, thank you. When I say try to incorporate what I say to others, I know it's hard to do it immediately on the spot, but you worked hard on this, and I want to compliment you and say thank you for your hard work and your research, and you did it in Chicago style, and there was a lot of really excellent sources, so thank you for your excellent hard work and scholarship. Is the Trump administration escalating to war? I want this in outline form, so everyone please note, let me hold up what not to do. Don't turn in a big long essay, see, with long wordy paragraphs. And if you've done it that way, redo it. Turn it into an outline with the 7 parts that I gave you in the prompt. It should go 2 pages and be little bold blurbs of paragraphs and supporting points and your quotes. But no essays. You can't remember this and learn from this. So I want an outline, not an essay. Okay?
Sorry.
Yeah. Your intro, yes. Yeah. Your intro. You started with, and I thought it was a good quote from President Trump, where he vetoed the president of North Korea and called him Rocket Man. Yeah. So I was waiting to hear the Rocket Man as a tie back in the end and come the full circle. See, that would have been something that would have been effective. Okay, Jason. When I say I want you to move 3 times, that wasn't 30 times or 300 times the way you paced. But over there for your first point. Second reason there, we're going to war. And the third reason, back to center. Okay? I'm almost out of time. I got to do this quickly. So, you paced. Okay? Don't steeple. Just keep your hands open. Okay? I want to compliment Jason for referring to our president as President Trump. It shows respect, even though for the office, even though you may think he's a clown or whatever else your private opinion is. But I appreciate you referring to him as President Trump. It increased, in my mind, your classiness and credibility. It's, I was, okay, enough said on that. President Trump, yes. I want your preview, and everyone note this in case you're going to do this wrong. His preview was too long. You almost gave your speech in your preview. All I needed to hear was 3 reasons. Okay, he's inexperienced, he's a businessman, and just like that. You almost gave it away in your long preview. So everyone, short preview. You did a good job of qualifying the New York Times and the year, say the year, 2017, and say the year of his tweets. So that's a good. And I want your narrative, folks, to be more prominent. So you go, that's my first reason why we're going to war. But I have a second reason. It's his political background, a businessman. So walk 3 times. My third reason, and make it jump out with your voice. And I appreciate you winding down quickly and saying, in summary, the conclusion is always there should be no doubt in this room we're going to war. And then tie back to the Rocket Man. You did a good job of your research. I would like to see do a little better job of eye contact, and what I'm after, folks, is eye contact of 3 to 5 seconds when you look at a person. And I know that's a little bit long, it may seem a little bit long to you, but that's how you really make a connection. Okay? But really good start and good job. Just don't go so long next time. Time yourself and keep it at 5. Thank you. Jason. All right, well, we will, we're out of time. We will, to be continued, and I will call on people. So be ready, you people. And if you have questions, you all signed up for a topic, right? Did you all understand what I'm doing and how to do the assignment? Yes? Okay, great. Okay. Great. Thank you. Yeah, that would be serious. You took that away. Yeah.
So for next week, are we not signing up for new?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to sign up now? Yeah.
So the rest of the people who voted out, why are they not presenting them? Or are they going to present next week?
That's great. Yeah, we're just going to keep going.
These 3 people will be presenting next week?
Right. Yeah. So you can kick back a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Bye. Hi. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
For my
Download.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get some lunch. I'll meet you back here.
Okay. What time?
Be there in half an hour.
Okay, no later than that because I have this alone meeting to go to. So.
15 minutes. I'm getting in North Campus.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, an apple would be cool. You want to install it?
For my references, do you?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Is that good?
Chicago,
Like that?
yeah. But you have to put them up in here and.
But should I space it out and put it there so you could see it more clearly?
Yeah, you make them in single spaced. Yeah.
So I could write it and then indent it and put it here and I can keep it on
that's better. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And one, according to McGee and Summerman, who concluded in what year, we don't know the years, and you don't even have it here.
Yeah, I do.
2015.
Because I'm going to save that.
Say it.
I didn't
But put it up in
there
here. Yeah,
okay.
put it up in
right.
there, yeah. Well, this is a great topic. Did you see 60 Minutes? No? To watch it on YouTube. Yeah.
What is it?
You never heard of 60 Minutes?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
It's a show on CBS, a news show. It's called 60 Minutes.
Okay.
And it's a news show that does investigations survey. And they did an investigation of why we have this opioid epidemic. And they concluded it was because the industry bought out Congress and stripped the Federal Drug Administration of all its enforcement powers with legislation that stripped them of all their powers. And
You don't know what to do.
very moving
Too late, dude.
report. And Congress has, in fact, the person that sponsored the legislation was set to be President Trump's director of drugs, and he had to withdraw today because of the 60-minute expose.
Okay.
So
I'll
look into it and stay up and be current. Read the New York Times and the. But go to the CBS website. CBS News website, and they have live streaming of 60 Minutes too, but it's also on YouTube. Yeah.
Because basically, I planning on
Right there.
Okay.
60 Minutes, and it's a news show.
Okay. On CBS. All right.
CBS, and that also goes to their website, CBS News. And yeah.
Because I started off with question, and then
No, that's weak.
So don't do that.
No, I mean, it's a rhetorical question. Or a question is okay, but it's not the greatest grabber.
So just
Yeah, it's not the greatest grabber.
Yeah.
do
So,
more of a story, maybe.
Story, yeah.
Can it be like a personal story, or
Yeah,
does it have to
personal
be?
story, yeah.
It'll build credibility that way sometimes.
Because my three main reasons that, because I'm
What's your
saying,
question?
my question is, should the U.S. increase regulations on opiate
Oh,
prescriptions?
God.
And my,
Well, they don't have any now, so. Wouldn't hurt.
but like my position is yes, there should be stricter laws governing this issue, and my three reasons are due to addiction, abuse, and overdose, which is leading to
No,
people's
that's
death.
right. There should be greater restrictions because pharmacists, because distributors can distribute as many pills as they want to without question. And there hasn't been a single doctor prosecuted in 2 years for giving out too many prescriptions for opioids. And there was a precipitous drop-off in the Obama administration of the prosecution of doctors because they didn't have the teeth to go after them because the law got stripped. So it's all structural inherence. It's structural problems that you have to deal with to give the country teeth. Yeah, it is addicting, but yeah, that's all given, and but if doctors can't give them out, the people that are addicted are going to have to get treatment. We can stop it now and stop the people from new people getting into the addiction cycle.
Okay, so then I should focus my three reasons on pharmacy, distribution, and physicians?
Pharmacy, physicians, yeah.
And then...
I think manufacturers, they made billions from it. And they lied to the American public. They said they're not addictive, and they are. And they testified before Congress that they're not addictive. There's no problem with opioid addiction. And it was just a straight up lie. And they told doctors they're not addicted, and they were. So the industry has some responsibility. And without federal legislation, you see, the states are trying to do it, patch meal in an ad hoc way, but unless you have this big federal teeth in the states, the states move to another jurisdiction.
Okay, I'll change it up then.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
good.
look at the CBS, the 16 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Watch this thing and your eyes will get open. Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay, and then like the grading process, for these presentations, are they how harshly like?
Yeah, they're very harsh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no.
It's like, does
did I not in the syllabus put how I grade? Did I not put the little thing that I grade on
The
there?
checklist?
The
I already
checklist?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see like what.
All right, good.
Story.
I'll give out the checklist next time. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give out the checklist.
And then I saw for the extra credit, you put the module questions on there, so you just watch the modules and answer those questions for the extra credit.
Yeah, there's another extra credit, which is there's a lecture that I want everyone to go to by Dr. Brian Boxer-Wackler on November 7th.
What date does that fall?
November 7th? Tuesday, yeah.
November 7th on a Tuesday?
At 6:30 in the faculty center, yeah. He's an eye surgeon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a chance to get extra credit.
So can I do both?
Yeah.
Can I do the modules and
going
to the debate?
You said November 7th?
Yeah, November 7th,
So it's on
that's
a
a Tuesday, 6:30 at the faculty center in the Sierra room.
6:30.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, this is about to run out of juice. Ooh, not good.
Okay.
I'll put it on my calendar.
Okay, good. Yeah. So your question?
It's very quick. So
You're welcome. Bye.
just really quick on the formatting. I'm going to be putting the footnote on the bottom.